This is going to be a runner-up video to the last one I did on spiritual energy. And the last video was based off of spiritual energy transference between people and what to look out for someone that's draining your energy, and also what to look out for when it comes to what you would call like a symbiotic spiritual energy transfer, which is essentially rare. Kind of like two people find each other to be the perfect fit and they power each other up. That is a rare occurrence, but it does happen. And what you end up with is you end up with two people that are strong spiritually energy, and then when they actually get together, start working together, you end up with a powerhouse that's just about unstoppable. That was mostly discussed in the last video. What I wanted to discuss is ways you can, as an individual, increase your spiritual energy. Most every language and culture out there has some form of way to pray before you eat your food and drink your water. Even cultures that aren't very religious, such as like Japan, they put their hands together, they slap their hands together in a prayer-like fashion and say itadakimasu or takimasu, and it's like saying thank you for this meal, right? It's showing gratitude and praise towards the food you're about to eat, and that essentially imbues it with what you could call spiritual energy or a positive form of energy. And when you eat it, it definitely over time helps refill your battery. That's one way to do that. Another way is through stretching and through meditative practices, which stretching can be a meditative practice. You have to figure out what works best for you. You'll find like certain religions like Christianity will say stuff like yoga is satanic. They also want you to go to church and to learn the Bible almost strictly through a pastor or a spiritual leader. And I do find that to be somewhat disconcerting when you're forced to learn spirituality. They give you a book, but they also force you to learn spirituality specifically through a spiritual leader in a congregation. In other words, you're sheep in a flock and you have a shepherd. And I respect that too. But at the same time, you can follow the path and self-enlighten yourself as well. You can enlighten yourself through your own understanding as well. So you don't want to have a shepherd that's misguiding you in the wrong direction, the wrong path, which I've seen happen so often. It's something I would consider to be uncomfortable to see now, but at the same time, it's gotten to a point where, you know, I'm essentially kind of numb and used to seeing that now as well, which is an unfortunate thing. That being said, you know, you can do it through food. You can do it through meditative practices, such as maybe studying might work for you if you like to study certain things and it gives you kind of a sense of satisfaction on a deeper level. That's good. Stretching is very important. I think yoga is essentially a form of stretching mixed with meditation. And you know, I grew up in a Christian family, and to hear other people that are Christian talk about how yoga is satanic is like asinine to me. It's ludicrous. It's borderline insane. Like the level of indoctrination to believe that stretching is satanic is out of this world to me. I don't even know how someone could say that. Like when I used to play soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, depending on the country. When I used to play soccer as a kid, we always stretched before and after, right? And yoga is pretty much no different. It's just different forms of stretching to align your muscles, your spine, your back. You know, align everything in your body so basically you function better. And that's part of spirituality too, is that you want your physical body and the physical realm to be as high functioning as possible, so you can have a high spiritual energy and you can essentially ascend to higher levels of enlightenment. And that's why in the Christian Bible it says your body is a temple. is because you're supposed to treat it with reverence. You're supposed to take care of it. You're supposed to exercise, keep yourself healthy, not too fat, not too skinny, eat right. And one of the things that we have nowadays, if the government did this intentionally, is feed us with preservatives, right? So we get fed preservatives and a lot of different little stuff that has side effects that you wouldn't even recognize what it might do. And one of the things I did for a long period of time is I cooked all my own meals, and I hardly ate anything that came from the store as far as processed food. I didn't eat very much stuff that was processed food, besides stuff maybe like ice cream and a few different meals here and there, like cake mix after we'd make a cake. But one of the things you can do for yourself, if you're in an area where you can do this and there's no toxins in the ground, is you can actually just look around on the ground, and like there's a lot of clover right here that you can eat. You know, clover's not very good. It's kind of hard to pick, and you might get some other stuff in it when you pick it. But there's also like dandelion greens and stuff like that. Like, yeah, like these are dandelion greens right here, right? You can eat that. That's high in calcium, but those are natural weeds that you can eat that come out of the ground. And it's similar to grounding, where you put your feet on the ground and you kind of you contact the ground with your bare feet, so you can have an electrical charge and discharge coming through your body and help kind of regulate your body, because we're essentially meant to have our feet on the ground. And that's one of the things that they don't tell you, is that when you have rubber shoes that pull you away from the earth and essentially isolate you, because that's what it is. It's rubber's an insulation for electricity. When you're insulated away from the thing that you were essentially created on, it separates you from, you could say, your mother, right? Mother's nature. And if you look at the way Indians, the Native Americans behaved, the earth was their mother. And so you separating yourself from the thing that you were created from, and that causes a disruption in your spirituality. So grounding is a smart thing to do, as far as running around barefoot every now and then. Just getting your bare feet on the ground is very important. And having a healthy mindset, keeping your mindset positive, which, you know, I have to say that I'm not the best at. I kind of have a cynical attitude from previous experiences and past histories, and that's okay, right? That's okay, because, you know, things are looking up, and I'm looking a lot better where I am than where I was, as far as the way I feel about things. So back to spiritual energy. So we've got different ways you can eat. We've got grounding, we've got meditation and spiritual practices, as far as stretching, yoga, stuff like that. It could be something as simple as fishing too. If you like fishing, that's a very meditative practice. Oh yeah, so preservatives. Preservatives are a huge thing. Two things you want to absolutely keep out of your mouth as far as what you eat. Do not get amalgam fillings. They've got mercury in them, and that's one of the things that essentially kills your ability to have spiritual energy, spiritual enlightenment. It'll just dull your senses after you have too much of that in your body. It'll also cause massive pain in your joints, because that's where it likes to sit. It likes to sit in the joints. So it'll give you lower back pain, elbow pain, knee pain, ankle pain, stuff like that, until you're able to figure out how to pull that out of your body. And the same thing with fluoride. Don't get me wrong, brushing your teeth with toothpaste is fine, but you don't want to be drinking that in your water every day, like so many places like to put it in the water system. So if you can actually get that out of your water supply, I would say that would be probably, for me, that would be my first and foremost thing to do. Where I live on a well, albeit it's kind of funny, I've been drinking salt water for 7 years. We have saltwater inclusion from the ocean where we're at, because the well sits below sea elevation and we're next to the ocean. It's not bad enough to where it's uncomfortable to drink, but you can just taste a little bit of salt in there. And it doesn't affect our garden either. When we water our garden, there's just a little bit of salt in the water. It doesn't affect any of our plants. So it's such a small amount, it's really inconsequential. But just in case, I also put a reverse osmosis filtration system underneath my sink, and then that way I know that my water is about as clean as it can possibly be, and it purges itself like every night of the buildup of whatever material that comes through. So those are a few things too. Gonna have to watch out what you put on your skin too. You know, you don't want to be putting lotions or things on your skin too much that might detach you from spirituality. There's some things you can put on your skin that, since your skin's one of the largest, it's the largest organ on your body, and it's very absorbent as far as what you put on it. You can absorb a lot of different things. Actually, one of the best ways to absorb garlic into your body is to mix it with oil of oregano. Grind it up, mix it with oil of oregano, and you make like a tincture out of that, and then you rub that on the top of your feet. And if you make a strong enough tincture, you can actually taste the garlic after a certain amount of time. It goes through your bloodstream, and you end up breathing it out through your lungs. So that's kind of an interesting experience if you ever try it. Something to try if you want. But there's a lot of different ways to regain your spiritual energy on your own and recharge your battery. This is just a couple ways. I hope that this helps you out. Have a good day.